I have a ton of old video games, and I really want to do more videos on these older games. But one thing's been holding me back. A long time ago, I did a review on the Sega Saturn controller, and the only comment that I've ever gotten that just really stuck with me, something along the lines of, "Oh man, hey, that controller review was great, but man, your video quality looks like trash." Well, I finally decided to invest a little bit more money in the channel, and today we're going to be talking about upscaling. So the problem with playing old school games nowadays is, well, basically they look best on a CRT TV. Now, most people don't have any CRT TVs. Not like me anyway, who's crazy enough to have 4 of the dang things. I know, I have a problem. But that being said, even if you have one, a lot of people don't have maybe a good one. What's a good CRT TV? Now, I know a lot of people talk about Trinitron, which I have one right here, and it is great, but they're gigantic, they're massive. So what are your options if you want to play with old school games on original hardware? One option is to get something like this. Now, this is a composite to HDMI converter. As you can see, composite goes in one side, HDMI comes out the other side, but that's all it does. It says it upscales. It does not upscale. This thing costs like $10. It doesn't do anything except for just straight convert it to your TV. And that's where this little beauty comes in. Now, there are many different kinds of upscalers. The 3 major ones that everyone talks about are the Framemeister, the OSSC, and the RetroTink. Now, the RetroTink just got a Pro version that released, and the OSSC is getting a Pro version released later this year, 2020. Now, the Framemeister is a very odd beast. This thing was made by a Japanese company, and that company does not exist anymore, so these are not being made anymore. Because of that, the price has kind of jumped up, but it is very easy to use and has a lot of great inputs. You can plug in straight up composite and upscale it. Has HDMI out, all sorts of different options. It also has an SD card where you can make your own custom profiles, which I have done earlier for this video, in fact. So the best way to use this system is with RGB inputs. You're gonna get like the best, cleanest signal. I am not a very technical person, so I relied a lot on this great Facebook group I'm part of, and then also just different message boards. But because this is Japanese, the easiest way to get through everything is to use a SCART cable. Now, SCART cables look like this. They're mainly European, and this is actually going to apply to the OSSC as well. Without getting into too complicated of a matter, though, this one, being Japanese, needs a Japanese converter cable, this thing, to convert it from the Japanese signal to the European signal. And this cable right here, for instance, is for a Sega. So I have the adapter cable would plug in here. This would go into my Sega. HDMI would come out, power goes to it, and voila. But you don't really care about all that. You more care about what this thing is going to do for you. Now, for me personally, I got this because basically running through my capture card is like running to an HD TV. While for you at home, getting something like this, I'm not saying this, in fact, I can't really recommend the Framemeister only because its price is ridiculous. I got a very, very good deal on this, and you can find good deals on them, but out of the 3 options, this is the most expensive option. And out of the 3 options, the cheapest option is also pretty easy to use as well, and that's the RetroTink. I wish I had some comparative footage, but I don't. But anyway, this is something, like I said, that you would hook up to your HD TV to really get some great video signal out of. But don't take my word for it. Let's look at some of the footage. So this is me running through the composite to HDMI converter I showed earlier. Now, it looks kind of blurry. It looks kind of like if you wear glasses, maybe took them off. But without anything to compare to, you might actually think this looks, hey, pretty good, especially on a big screen, or maybe you're watching it on your phone. It doesn't look too bad. But let's see what happens when we switch it over to the Framemeister. You can instantly tell it is sharper. I mean, the lines are popping, everything's way more vivid, all of the animations just look more smooth. I mean, the difference is drastic. But I mean, hey, I know you still may be skeptical, like, hey, this is a 2D game. It's easy to make 2D games look good. Well, let's see what happens when we do a 3D game. So this is one of my favorite PS2 games and a real hidden gem, Way of the Samurai. Now when you plug in Way of the Samurai, you think PS2, it just kind of looked like this, it didn't age too well, older, blockier graphics, and I personally didn't think that the Framemeister would make that big a difference, but as you can see here, it almost looks like this game has an HD texture update. I mean, I cannot see myself ever going back and playing my old school games on an HD TV without using an upscaler ever again. This has definitely spoiled my view on it. I feel like it's upscaler or nothing from now on. So that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video with a little collage of some different games being compared so you can look at them side by side in real time. So I hope you like that little showcase of what the Framemeister can do. I'm still getting a few more cords to hook up all of my old consoles. Right now I'm just kind of relegated to a few, and I am going to have to mod the Nintendo 64 if I want the cleanest picture. But as of right now, I can actually use composites, so I can at least spiffy it up a little bit. But anyway, if you guys are interested in upscaling, I'm not saying get a Framemeister. They're very expensive. But if you guys have any experience of your own with maybe like OSSCs or the RetroTink, drop down in the comments below about what your experiences are, because I'd love to hear the different views on these different upscalers, especially with there being so many on the market nowadays. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. Thanks again for watching. Like, dislike if you feel any kind of way about it. Leave a comment down below if you have some cool experiences with upscalers. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. We do videos every week. And hey, as always, take it easy.